When I decided that I was going to give up the family business and become an artist, and I couldn't even say the A word back then, because I had no training, I took a couple of figure drawing classes, and I happened to have an aptitude for it, and I was also carving at a gentleman's studio in New Haven, Tim Doyle, and on a fluke I applied to the Art Institute of Chicago to go for to get real art training, and I got accepted, and they said come up for the summer before the classes begin because I have a journalism degree. I only had maybe 3 art classes. So I went up to Chicago for the summer, and while I was there, again through a weird series of flukes, I met a guy who had just come back from the National Cathedral, and he knew that the master was looking for an apprentice. And I flew out, and I got the job. And I went back to the Art Institute, and I told the dean, I said, I got this opportunity to go work at the National Cathedral, but you've given me this opportunity to come to the Art Institute, and I thought this was it. I thought I had reached the pinnacle. And he looked at me and said, do you need help packing? Traditionally, when you do the classical work that I was lucky enough to apprentice at the cathedral, there was enough years of work to learn how to do something. To do the traditional carving, it used to be an 8 or 10 year apprenticeship. I had a 4-year one, and so my body of knowledge is smaller than somebody who might have had an 8-year. There's not enough big jobs now for me to bring in an apprentice to teach them traditional carving. When I worked at the cathedral, I might do the same stone for 4 or 5 weeks because there was 100 of them. So I'd do one, the first one would take me 3 weeks, the second one would take me 2 weeks. By the time I did 4 or 5 of them, I could do them 3 or 4 days. And that way you learn a different chisel and you go, this time I'm going to try doing it this way. But it has to be a specific piece. It has to look exactly like it's supposed to, but how you get there is how you learn. I physically can't carve 8 hours a day, 12 months a year like I did. So I'm doing other things. I'm designing, or I'm working on models, or I can physically carve 4 to 5 hours a day now, and that's about enough. But the kind of carving where I'm constantly moving around like this, because I'll be in a funny shaped position for a couple hours. It takes too much of a toll. Yeah, I got to work at the cathedral. I got to work at Crazy Horse Mountain. I've been able to do really interesting commission work of fantastical designs, and now I'm doing these giant, big abstract pieces. So I can't say there's one thing that I maybe design something like a home. I've done monumental stuff. I've done small stuff. I've done really classical things. I've done very sort of abstract. I just want to keep working. I just want to make sure that I'm able to continue to work, and I don't know how many years left I've got to physically do it. So just being able to have the opportunity to continue to do stuff.